drive safe.
Yeah, all right, lovely. Thanks for coming on. What happens next? Let's get some reaction. Frank mentioned Barry Hearn, and we can talk to him. He's the chairman of Matchroom, the fight promoters. Barry, morning.
Good morning.
What did you think of your man last night?
I was impressed, very mature, a very methodical and then very brutal finish. Obviously, we all know Anthony Joshua has got a terrific boxing brain. I think they prepared well and they've executed their plan. Povetkin is a very dangerous fighter. We knew that he's not number 3 in the world for nothing, and I was quite concerned early doors because I thought Povetkin looked very dangerous. He can punch. Awkward style, but a professional fighter. But Anthony dealt with everything and put in front of him as he always does, and I was very, very happy with the evening's work.
Yeah, and as always, I mean, a couple of stone, 4 inches heavy, and obviously 10 years, you can't do anything about the aging, but usually the bigger guy always wins, doesn't he? Normally.
Yeah, of course, but I think that's not what they said about Mike Tyson and people like that.
No, that's the point. I suppose he was a bit of an exception, though, wasn't he, Tyson?
No. Listen, it's about your ability in the ring. Povetkin been beaten once and been in with a lot of big guys and fought at a very high level. So I wouldn't deny Povetkin the respect of what his career has given him and the achievements that he's had. But Joshua is the world's number 1 heavyweight, and you expect him to win every fight if you're number 1, and if you're not, you don't become number 1, do you?
No, absolutely. So now, what next? Deontay Wilder, the WBC champion, it's been confirmed in the last 24 hours that he's going to fight Tyson Fury in America, and Frank Warren, who arranged that's on the line. So let me get, first of all, before we bring Frank in, a reaction to that December the 1st fight, Barry.
Well, I mean, great. It's a good fight. I think it's something that will get people's attention. And like everything else, I mean, as I think Anthony said last night so clearly, is that we focus on ourselves, and obviously Anthony wants to fight the best out there. So I think it's a great fight for boxing. I think it's a little early, bless him, for Tyson, but I understand his reasoning, and it's shrewd business. I suppose if Tyson Fury gets beat by Deontay Wilder, he could probably still come back and fight Anthony Joshua, whereas if it was the other way round, he couldn't. So that's 2 for the price of 1. Yeah. Very good. I look forward to it. I think Deontay Wilder's a big favourite.
Well, stay on the line if you would, because Frank Warren joins us. Frank, so all the paperwork signed, it's definitely happening December the 1st, yeah?
It is, and there'll be Deontay and his team will be in London Monday week, and we'll be starting the first leg of the press tour, which are taking New York, LA, and there's one other city which hasn't been decided yet.
Yeah. If Wilder lost as the champion, is there a rematch clause in the contract for him to fight Fury again before any other contest?
I can't give you the details of the contract.
Why not?
Because I just told you. But the situation is very clear. The winner of that fight, and Anthony Joshua, is a big fight, and nothing will stand in the way of that happening. I believe that Tyson Fury will be the winner. As Barry just said, that's a big fight, so why on earth would anybody want to stand in its way?
No, all I was merely thinking that if Fury won and Wilder as the champion lost, Wilder, if I was his manager, I'd say have a rematch contract in there, and so that might scupper an immediate fight with Joshua, if you see the point I'm making.
No, I absolutely do see the point, but I think everybody's sensible enough to make sure that the big fights happen. And there are ways to make things happen. So I don't believe that anything will stop that fight from happening. The only people who could stop it from happening is Anthony Joshua's people.
So, Barry Hearn, you say?
Well, with all respect, total rubbish. Number 1, there's got to be a rematch clause, obviously, because there's no way Deontay Wilder is going to risk his WBC title without a rematch clause, unless his management has changed, because his management are actually quite sensible. So, look, there's no rush. I mean, I think Frank would agree that you don't rush anything in boxing. We've got a fighter here who's 22 fights, the world number 1 heavyweight. There's no rush whether he fights Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury later on. I mean, we're not going away from this world. In an ideal world, we have a plan. If the ideal world doesn't work out, we have another plan and we run a proper business at proper time. But I know Anthony has made his shopping list of who he would prefer to fight next, and that is Deontay Wilder. But it doesn't mean to say the deal can be done, because You don't just go into any meeting and say, I want to fight you, I'll agree any terms. Anthony's planning a 6, 7, 8-year career. It doesn't end on April the 13th. It's just another day of a journey of Anthony Joshua's career.
Frank?
Well, that tells you all you need to know. They don't want to fight. If they wanted to fight Wilder, they would have fought him yesterday. That's what would have happened. They didn't want to fight him. It's simple as that. They turned down a $50 million offer, and that's why we're making the fight. The facts of the matter are the public want the fight, Sam. They want the winners to fight, want to see who's the best. Yeah, and I respect what Barry says because he's an accountant. That's his mentality. What does he want to kill the golden goose for? The public want to see the best fighting the best. And the 3 best heavyweights out there are Anthony Joshua, Wilder, and Tyson Fury. So the bottom line is 2 of them are fighting. The lineal champions fighting the WBC champion, both undefeated. The winner of that should fight Anthony Joshua next April. Why shouldn't that happen?
Barry?
Great. It's great if it happens. We want to fight Wilder. We've sent Wilder a signed contract to fight on April the 13th already.
We'll be fighting Tyson Fury.
Yeah, but he's fight. No, we will agree a term with Deontay Wilder to fight on April the 13th if he beats Tyson Fury. If he doesn't beat Tyson Fury, I believe we've got to look around because we've got a business to run. We want to deliver the fights people want. That's why we do the biggest shows in the world.
The public don't want to see Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury will not be in a position, in my view, Frank.
Well, let's put it this way. Let's just cut
if he is, I'd love to see it.
Well, let me tell you, that's my problem to sort out. But let's assume that he is in that position. Is the fight going to happen?
I can't do that.
Is the fight going to happen?
Yeah, I can't do that because I can't assume that you're telling me the truth. I don't believe he is going to be in a position to do that.
That's not what I asked. Whether you're saying whether you believe it or not, what I'm saying to you, if he's in that position.
There's no question. If Tyson in a world
then
where...
that's up to me to deliver that, isn't it? So I'm pleased to hear that you have stated publicly, if he's in the position, we'll make the fight. That's all we want to know.
Of course, and it's like everything else, Frank, as you know, it's subject to terms.
Well, it shouldn't be a problem, should it? The lineal champion, who's now the WBC. Let me finish. The lineal champion is the WBC.
We're not on Radio 5, and this is very poor form to be negotiating in the public
it's not.
arena.
It's getting the truth
I don't do that, and Radio 5 should know
the truth out in front of the public.
We will agree
You're stopping it. It's getting the truth out in front of the public, so the public understand why fights don't happen.
Gentlemen, let me as the referee just step in here, and what I'm going to ask you to do, I'm just going to be the referee here.
On national radio to try and agree terms for a commercial fight. You should know better, and Radio 5 should be ashamed of themselves.
Hang on one second, Barry. Hang on.
He has nothing else to pull.
Hang on one second, Barry. We did ask you whether you would talk to Frank Warren, so don't say Radio 5 should be... So, Barry, would you just bear with us for 1 second? I'm going to let you have your say. Can you just tell us, in a nutshell, what you see the situation as, Barry, please?
Wilder or Tyson Fury, subject to terms on April the 13th, without a problem in the world.
OK, and Frank, let's get a little response from you.
I'm absolutely delighted that Barry's just said. So there you go, people who are listening. The winner will fight Anthony Joshua. You heard it from the chairman.
Subject to terms, because you will ask for a ridiculous amount of money and it won't be made. But let's try to talk about it anyway.
It'll be very simple. It's a 50-50 deal.
It's not a 50-50 split against the number one heavyweight in the world. You can forget that completely.
Gentlemen, I appreciate you coming on. I'm only sorry we couldn't have done a pay-per-listen deal for Five Live there. Barry, thank you very much for coming on the programme.
Good. It won't be happening again. Thank you.
OK, Frank, thank you very much as well.
Well, I hope I'm on the programme again.
Yeah, we'll invite you back. Kevin, a reaction to that, and as I say, I will make the point that we said to Barry Hearn before he came on the air, he was on, and my producer said they were happy to talk.
Gary, I think I need a cup of tea, mate, after that. Look, I think that discussion was more about the way that Frank and Barry feel about each other, which is clear, and and that's been a career-long entertainment for most of us in this business. But they both made their positions clear.